This is a small town podcast about Summerland, and my first guest actually at one point was my neighbor. I'm lucky to have with me today, Haun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here, Brad. This is amazing.
So Haun has been a longtime resident of Summerland. He actually met his wife here years ago. They've raised their family here, and they own Lakeshore Fitness, which is a gym in town. Haun is also really involved in the community with coaching a lot of the sports teams at our schools. And he actually heads off to Prince Rupert, where his dad actually owns a crabbing business. And so he actually goes out there 1 month a year and actually goes offshore and does a bunch of fishing. And so we're going to get into all those cool stories. So yeah, thanks so much for being here, Haun.
I've never done a podcast before, so I'm excited to experience this.
Yeah, for sure. But why don't you give me just a little bit of background about yourself, like where you came from, how'd you get here, and why Summerland your hometown?
Yeah, that's a story. That's a good story. I've always had this romantic idea of having my own training facility, and the opportunity came in 2015. I was working as a trainer in Vancouver at the time, and I figured I would have to at least give it a chance at least. So that's what brought me to Summerland.
Yep.
But before that, I used to come here as a young kid, I want to say like from the ages of like 10 to about like 16, I'd come to Summerland for a Taekwondo like summer camp, like training camp. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a week long, and that's actually where I met my wife.
No kidding.
Yeah. So
I didn't know. So Summerland had a Taekwondo training facility, or was it just the group met here? What was the?
Yeah, it was a club. So we were part of a school called Champion Taekwondo.
Okay.
This master, he was based out of Edmonton, Alberta, but he had branches all over BC as well too. Summerland was one of those branches.
Cool.
So all of the branch schools or branches would come together to Summerland, and we do a training camp for a week, and then there was a tournament that I'd compete in at the end.
Huh. So Taekwondo, and you said you met your wife there.
Yeah.
So how long ago was, how old were you, I guess?
13, and she would have been 10, so it was like,
What?
friends and...
No kidding.
Like...
So you started dating at what, 10 and 13?
No, but definitely like she was my first crush for sure.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Was it because she like threw you to the ground and you're like, oh, I'm going to marry you?
No, nothing like that. But coming from Prince Rupert, I grew up in Prince Rupert, born in a refugee camp in Thailand, but of Vietnamese descent though.
Okay.
So my parents, their escape story was having to find a way out of Vietnam.
No kidding.
Right? Yeah. And so at the time, the story was, or the rumor was, get to this place and they'll send you to North America. So
really?
Yeah.
Okay, so hang on. So just take me back there a little bit. So they're in Vietnam. So the reason for them leaving was because of the war, I'm assuming.
Aftermath.
Aftermath of the war.
Yeah.
Yep. And then they had to get to where first?
Thailand.
So they had to get to Thailand.
Yeah.
And then from Thailand, they got shipped to Prince Rupert?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not on a boat though. So we were lucky. We were sponsored by a church group from Quesnel.
No way.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I have the information of the person that was partly involved.
Okay.
And I have to find them. So
no kidding. You haven't found them? Like when you say the person that was involved, like the person that sponsored you?
I think it was a group. So it wasn't just like one person who did the sponsorship, but it was probably a group of them, right? So Summerland has something very similar.
Right.
They have that committee that brings people here, which I think is awesome.
Oh, it's amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of
things
are going around like all over the world about immigrants but I'm one of them, right? I'm one of them.
And now you're giving back to this community in such a huge way.
I believe my parents accomplished what they were trying to do when they made that decision, right? To come over here and do this, and it was to be able to give them a better shot, right? At building a life, and then definitely for the next generation. There wasn't much going on there as a young adult. There wasn't any room for growth. And I would even say worse off than say a person who was just you know, born into a situation where you're just like freely living off the land, you have an opportunity to. There, that wasn't even there. I don't think at the time, just because of like tight rules and regulations from a communist government, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
So I believe that's why they left. And you know,
Wow. And so when they got to Prince Rupert, and you've mentioned before your dad is a commercial fisherman.
Yeah.
Is that what he did back? No, it's not.
No, yeah.
So he started that once he came to Canada.
That's right. So he chose Prince Rupert. My parents chose Prince Rupert because of they heard that there was already like a generation of Vietnamese people there.
Gotcha.
And they were able to, you know, make a living being crab fishermen.
No way.
So that in itself is another story. It's neat.
Yeah.
My dad, he, you know, I asked him about it. He's getting older, so now when I go crab fishing with him, he likes to share stories. And he would tell me just these wildest stories about being on the ocean.
Yeah.
He described himself as one level being above a pirate.
Yeah, interesting. Wow.
Just because there was no regulation, right? There was no regulation or like.
So is this like late 80s kind of thing, or is this like mid 90s?
Yeah, late 80s. So I was born in 86.
Yeah.
I want to say we immigrated here like 89, 90.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so it's because somebody, I think it was actually James that mentioned that you had said it was like the Wild West back then, and how like something to do with like you put all your crab traps out, you come back the next day and someone's taking yours up. So you basically look around and be like, well, there's some over there, I'll take those.
Yes, poaching. So my dad said, like, I don't know, like I don't want to incriminate any statute of limitations, hopefully. But yeah, there's a lot of that.
Oh,
right?
that's
like,
crazy.
Like from like
absolutely
interseas as well too. Yeah.
Oh, that's fascinating. Crazy. Okay, well, before we continue, I could ask you 1,000 more questions about that. But we're going to do a quick little question here that's just going to help myself and the audience get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, and it'll progress. What's your breakfast routine?
Oh, breakfast routine.
Okay, start off with breakfast. What do you have for breakfast?
Nothing.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Okay, you're the second guest I've had that's been like nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get up at what time? Like, what do you get up at a specific time?
I do. When I'm working, like if I'm training clients, there's clients that are ready to go at 6 a.m. So my first training session, I'm working with people at 6 a.m. And then so I won't have my first meal until about like, I want to say 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get up. What's your morning routine? Do you get up and then I have a cold glass of milk or water?
Yeah.
Or is it literally like nothing? No coffee, no tea, you just... That's it.
You know what? It's a glass of water to help like wake up.
Okay.
But then after that, no, I'm just out the door on my way walking.
Okay, so 1 o'clock comes and you've trained multiple clients. Obviously, you don't really have to do, I'm assuming, necessarily your own workouts because you do the workouts pretty much with your clients.
Here's the secret. Should I like let the secret
Let it out.
Secret of the trades?
Yeah.
You got to be fit enough to be able to like demo like well.
Yes.
Right. But you only got to do 2 to 3 reps real good.
Okay.
And then they get the picture.
Sure.
And then like you highlight the key points and then that's it. You don't have to go do a set 3 times, 12
Right.
reps, right?
Right. So you have to be fit enough to do it to make them be like, holy crap, he's really good at that. But they don't understand that like, well, they could probably do pretty good if they only need to do it one time.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. Rep number 12 is going to feel different than rep number 3. Yeah.
Okay. So we get to lunchtime. What's our lunch routine then?
Lunch routine is, I'm blessed. I have a wife that would normally take care of that for me.
Okay.
So I'm having my protein shake, my creatine, and something that my wife has made.
Okay, so like protein, creatine, and so these are like obviously some kind of a smoothie drink, something or other. Yeah. And is that like that fills you up, or do you need to have like a sandwich to bite into, or some fruit or whatever, or is it basically just a liquid diet?
You know, I can do both. Like I prefer, like I'm a huge fan of food myself. Yeah. So like the sensation of eating, there's always that, right?
Okay.
But on the days where it is just like a creatine or a smoothie, I can push it till maybe dinner.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, what's dinner then? Is that again your wife has some, or is it like do you have a specific regime for that?
No regime. We eat at our own kind of like, I don't want to say leisure, but we're not on a strict diet or anything like that. So if something sounds good, we're going for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. You have, and multiple, I think I've done it a little bit with you as well, but you have a crew, the dad bods.
incredible group of guys.
Okay, so this is a group of probably around like late 30s, 40s plus, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
How many would you say in general is the dad bods?
On the roster, in our group chat, there's probably like, I want to say 30 guys.
Really?
30 guys, but out of that 30, I want to say a good, solid, consistent 4 to 6.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And so of the dad bods, what's the whole thing behind that, and how did that come to be?
It's just the name itself kind of speaks to when you see the name of the group,
Yeah.
and then you see the guys that are involved with the group, you understand like how clever these guys are.
Okay,
right?
sure. Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So it's complete satire, I believe the comedy is,
Yeah.
but they're far from dad bods. These guys
Gotcha.
are incredible.
Yeah.
Like physically and like what they can do.
Sure.
Right? Like
Yeah.
like for example, on Tuesdays, we meet up at Giant's Head. It's a free run. This is open for everyone,
Okay.
by the way.
Yep.
If you want to come out and join us and do
Yeah.
this with us, you're more than welcome to. There's
Yep.
no commitment. There's no money. There's just no nothing. It's just
Right.
a group of guys running.
Yeah.
So
and
anyways,
Giant's Head, this is again the extinct volcano mountain in the middle of Summerland that has a paved road, but then there's a bunch of trails with vary in how extreme it is.
Yeah.
So do you guys have a certain route that you take every time, or does it kind of depend?
we do, man. We stay consistent to it. We run up the road.
Okay.
So we do sprint intervals up the road.
Yeah.
Right. So like 20 seconds of like a big effort.
Yeah.
Right. We drop down. We do 20 to 30 push-ups.
Yeah.
And then we have about like a 3-minute walk afterwards to recover.
Okay.
Yeah. So we do
Yeah.
sets of this until we're
Yeah.
all the way up to the top. We do this every Tuesday.
Yeah.
And these guys, like they're amazing. Like
Yeah.
they push it and they push me and
Yeah.
they're beating me. Like it's
That's pretty neat.
It's really nice.
And I mean, again, it's cool to see from the outside too, and I've also experienced it with you. It's obviously, yes, you're a trainer, you're a coach, and you're helping these guys achieve goals, but there's this real relationship and friendship that happens.
Yeah, there is a line. There is a line as a trainer. There's a professional line where it's like, it is very personal. You do get to know people on the deepest levels, as much as they want to take it.
They probably bring a lot of that, I don't know, I don't want to say angst. Sometimes it's joy, but sometimes there's probably people going through some really, really hard stuff. And the gym in this place is a place where they can just maybe silence it, or maybe they can get out those emotions through the
Yes.
exercise. Do you find that?
For sure. People will share that this is, if anything, if nothing changes, if nothing works, at the very least, this is a de-stressor for me.
Okay.
For my week, it resets me, you know. James, he says, like, after we do our Giant's Head run, anything that is hard is now easy, right? And it's so true.
James is just one of those people that he loves it so much. I think he loves obviously the workout, but he loves the people. He loves the experience, and it's like legitly fun for him. So when he says to me, he's like, "Oh, Brad, you got to come to the gym. It's just so fun." Or, you know, and we just be pumping it. He's like, "Oh, it's just so fun." And I'm just sitting there sweating, like having like a heart attack. And I'm like, fun. I'm trying to like, okay.
Find it, associate it.
So obviously you run the gym for most of the year, but in the last few years that I've known you, you will take off for sometimes a couple weeks to a couple months. Is that correct?
No, not a couple months.
What's the longest that you would normally take off for to go crabbing?
I'd say a month.
A month?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say a month.
A month. And
2 weeks to about a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you basically leave the gym because you obviously have other employees and trainers there that can kind of like take the reins and do that work.
It's I do have another trainer. Her name's Tiana. She's a great trainer. Like she's been with me for, oh gosh, I'm so bad with dates, but she's been in there for a long time now.
Yeah.
And she's solid.
Okay, so for someone that doesn't know what the crabbing lifestyle is like, because again, I think there's some people that totally romanticize it. I actually had a buddy who thought, "Hey, I'm gonna go do that," and he ended up going out. I think it was more for salmon.
Okay.
And he's from Saskatchewan, and it freaked the crap out of him so bad. He came back, and the first time I saw him, because I saw him just after he got off the boat.
Yeah.
Like totally emotional, grabbed me and hugged me.
Wow.
Tears in his eyes.
Okay.
And he was like, you won't understand the experience that I had out there. And I don't know how extreme it was, but it scared the crap out of him. Yeah. So obviously you grew up a little bit in this and you're a little used to it, but what's it like for somebody to step onto a boat, head off out into the ocean and do this crabbing?
You know, for me, even being growing up in it, it's nothing you'll ever see. Like it's not an everyday thing, this experience, right? So for your friend from Saskatchewan to grow up there and then to see the ocean and like what, just the visuals itself, right?
Sure.
Like let alone like let's take fishing away,
Okay.
right? And just like talk about what you would see. You see a horizon that just is endless, and it's the straightest thing in the world. You see these skies that are like just beautiful, right? And then you see the ocean that is, you know, 6 hours ago it was like 1 meter swells, everything's dark and gloomy, wet. You hear the waves, and then all of a sudden, right, pink sky, and it's completely glass flat.
That's
right?
crazy.
It's insane.
So is that, because again, you have claustrophobia. I don't know what the opposite of claustrophobia is, but is there, I'm assuming there's a certain part, and I don't know how far you guys go out, but are you out far enough where you can't see land anywhere?
Yeah, depending. Like, I was trying to answer that for myself this year.
Okay.
So we do see like off in the distance.
Yeah.
You know, the Queen Haida Gwaii, I should say, and BC.
Okay.
So we fish in the Hecate Straits.
Okay.
And so that's the body of water that's between Haida Gwaii and BC, the mainland there.
Gotcha.
So then our area, we fish in between there. You could be north of the island and south of the island, like everywhere in between that strait.
Yeah. And so for some people, that would be a super scary thing to be out there and just have this vast expanse and be like, I am so far away from a hospital, from my loved ones, from my family, like all that kind of stuff. Like, does that go through your head much, or is that more, I mean, again, I think if you do anything long enough, it just becomes normal.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. For the guys that have been doing it forever, like if you were to talk about this and like talk about your feelings and emote your feelings, like what do you like?
No, shut up.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Definitely like a tough guy mentality out there.
Right.
But not emotionless people.
Yeah.
But they just don't get. They're just hard.
Yes.
Like they're hard. Like interior,
Yep.
because the exterior is so hard. Like
Yeah.
the environment is hard.
Yeah, no kidding.
So I could see your friend being challenged for sure. Like every part of him would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is a day in life? Give me a little bit of like, what's this boat like? Is this like a big wooden boat? Is it a big steel boat? I'm assuming it's an aluminum or something like that. And then there's like maybe like a sleeping area with a kitchenette or something like that. Give me the Cole's notes.
Okay, so this boat, it's just like, think of it as a giant deck.
Okay.
Okay, so a giant deck, that's your work environment. So a giant deck. Our boat is about 40 feet long by 17 feet wide.
Okay.
Right, it's licensed for 600 crab traps.
Okay.
So that's what we fish there. We would be a small to like medium size operation.
Okay.
So then there's other licenses, right? So the next one up is 800 traps, then 1,000 traps, and then 1,200 traps.
Wow.
Which is that is a process. Those guys,
How much crew would you have on your guys' boat?
We have 4 guys.
4 guys?
4 guys.
And would you ever do it with 3, or would you ever do it with 5, or is 4 like that's the perfect thing?
No, it's a little too much, to be honest.
Okay.
It's a little too much. 4 guys on the deck in the beginning is a luxury. Like it's a luxury. It's just nice to have that extra body and extra hand, especially if you hit weather. And in the very beginning of the season when you're first setting your traps, just because there's a lot of work, there's a lot of carrying of the traps. It's a wild scene. So to kind of give you a picture, so we would leave the Prince Rupert docks, right, and head out to our area.
Is this like an early morning, like you get up, or is it kind of like, no, we leave at 10 o'clock?
No, it's a weather dependent thing.
Okay, right.
So you time your trips based on your weather. You're not going to go out if it's blowing 20 knots or plus or whatever, right? Or 15. You're not going to go out, but typically we don't have that pressure, right? So we would go and or in the summer we wouldn't have that pressure as much. So typically my dad would say, you know what, we're going at 1 p.m., 4 p.m., doesn't matter the day. Just get everything done in the harbor or inland before and get prepared and then go.
Yep.
So you're like, okay, everything's gonna be done by 1. We're going at 1, and it's just the most beautiful boat ride, right? It's 3 hours to get to this one area, and you're just going through these channels. You're going through and low tide, high tide. It kind of exposes the land differently, and it's just beautiful. And in those channels, you don't really get weather, so it's usually flat, calm, right?
Okay.
And then so we get to a 3-hour boat ride. Would kind of bring us halfway.
Sure.
It brings us to what they call the gates, right? So you leave from the inside passages to open water,
Okay.
or bigger bodies of water.
Okay.
So and once you go there, and once you cross that gate, you know you're in it, because you just start.
Yeah.
Just you start rocking.
And is that like, would it be fairly consistent every day, or is every day a new experience? Like you have no idea, like obviously, yeah, there's forecasts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like, is it fairly consistent of the day-to-day thing, or is it just so dependent on obviously weather?
Yeah, definitely on weather, but like I understand what you're saying. Like, so if the wind is blowing like below 15, I want to say 5 to 15 knots, half meter to a meter swells, you're getting something consistent, right? And obviously lower at 5, and then bigger at 15 knot winds. But the feelings and what you're dealing with are the same. It's just this constant rocking of your body.
So do you get sick after doing it for so long? Like, is that like a non-issue, or do you still get sick?
It's I still, like, the first trip is horrendous. Like,
Every time?
Every time, man. Like, that seasickness, like, you're just, if you're not doing it consistently, if you're not exposed to it, like, it goes away, and then that first trip is going to come back.
So when you say that first trip, what do you mean? So if you go for, let's say you go for a month, when you say first trip, what does that mean?
So the season would start on a specific date that's given out by the association. Okay. So then they say, like, for example, this year, June 26th, 8 a.m., that's when crab traps get to hit the waters. Okay. So that's what I mean by our first trip. Okay. So we've loaded our traps onto the boat. We plug it. We absolutely plug it. So these traps are about 110 centimeters in diameter. Okay. And they're these flat cylinders about, I want to say, 3/4 of a foot. Okay. Deep, right? Yep. And they weigh, with like the ropes and the buoys in, anywhere between like 100 pounds.
One trap?
One trap.
Wow.
Yeah. And they're awkward, big, 110 centimeters, so like this. And you're walking out you're holding these things, carrying these things, and you're walking on a deck and the boat's rocking. So there's so many things. And maybe you're seasick. Right. Right.
So you're walking these things as the boat is getting to its location?
No, they're stacked. So the deck is covered with them. Okay. Yeah. And so we transport them out to our area by stacking them. Okay. So they come in stacks of 6. So they get towed down, craned down. Yep. Right. And we land them onto our deck, and then we have to stack them in a certain way. Okay. So to fit as many as we can. Yeah. So out of 600 traps, we can fit like 300. Okay. Right. So they're stacked in these towers in a specific way. So it's June 25th, right? June 26th, 8 a.m. hits the waters. We're going to be driving out. Right. And if it's good weather, we're going to go right to our spot where we want to set these traps.
And so that's a 6-hour boat ride?
6-hour boat.
So 3 hours to the gates, another 3 hours to the place where you actually drop your traps.
I want to say like 6 to, depending on where you fish, right? 6 to 10 hours, 12 hours, depending on how far you go.
Okay, so you drop these traps. And so then do you drop them and then go back to land, or do you do?
That would be the second trip.
Okay.
Right. So the first trip, your boat is plugged, it's full, there's no room to work, you just have traps everywhere. So you set your 300 traps, right? And then you set your 300 traps, it's a boat race back, right? It's a boat race back to load your next set of traps. Okay. And that would be your second trip. Yeah. So what's it like, what's the process of actually letting all these traps out? So you get out to this spot, and then do you just drive the boat and you're chucking these things over? Are they all attached to one line? How does that work? Matt, great question. So the difference between inside crab fishing and outside crab fishing, I guess you can call it. Inside fishing, it's a smaller boat, and their traps, by rule, they have to be on a line. Okay. Right? So all these traps are attached to a long line. Okay. Our traps they're independent of each other.
They're individual ones.
Yeah.
And so how deep do these traps go in general?
Now we're giving away like, so this is the cool part. The crab fishermen out there, just based on how I was talking, I caught myself a bit.
Yeah.
The information that I give, they can kind of like locate your area.
Interesting.
So based off of the time it takes you to drive out, they'll know like, okay, where you exited from what gate. 6 hours would put you in this area. The depth of your traps, they'll know like in this area, that is that depth. And that they'll pinpoint.
Really? So it's all information that you don't share with other crabbers.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah, you make friends for sure. You make buddies for sure, but it's a living, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's.
So you're not going to tell me the depth. I like that. It's a little mysterious.
I don't know.
That's good.
Is that all right?
No, that's great.
Okay.
I think that's amazing. It's really cool. So, my other question. So if they're all individual traps, are they all in a line?
Yeah.
And so they obviously, these things, like you said, they weigh 100 and some pounds. So they're weighted. They all go down to the bottom, and then there's their one line that goes up with the buoy that just sits at the top.
Correct.
Okay.
And then you have a line of those, right? You have a distance of those.
Gotcha.
Set. Yeah.
So in 2 days you get all 600 traps out, and then you go back to land. And then when do you start picking up traps?
Right there, trip 2. So you set your
24 hours basically before you start pulling in those first 300.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, it stays that way for multiple fishes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
then once you go for your second trip, then you're out at sea potentially for a long time, unless I'm assuming you fill up your boat with crabs and you have to unload.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. And you got to be sneaky about that too.
Really?
You got to be sneaky about that.
Why?
Too. Because if say you go in and you're the first to go in and you hit, right? You hit the people when you unload, right? You have people working up there communicating,
right?
And so
they'll be like, Haun Pham's dad just came back with the mother load, and then they'll try to do the pinpoint thing, figure out where you guys were, and be like, that's where we got to go throw our traps.
They'll find your traps, and then they'll fish it there, especially if you're in an area that didn't hit, right? So then you definitely be like, you heard of an area that hit crab, you're gonna go there. You're not gonna do anything super malicious and like set like super close. There's an etiquette. Yeah. There's an etiquette.
What's the close, like, is there a number, like you're not supposed to put traps within 100 yards from another person, or is it like?
Yeah, you know what, you
just kind of know.
You just kind of know not to do it, but you see it. You still see it, right? And sometimes you can't help it either. Like you're running your path, and then they're running their path, and then depending on where, like how the the ground, the ocean floor, what it's doing, then you have to like steer into something else, right? Yeah. So it's there's an etiquette, but.
And is it multiple species of crab, or is it like Dungeness, or is it like red rock? Like what's the?
Yeah, we're specifically Dungeness.
Okay. Yeah. And those are the ones that are kind of the purple, dark purple kind of sort of color.
That's right. You see them commonly in our like superstores, and you'll see them there.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, is there any moments on the ocean that have been like the most scary for you, as far as like being in a big storm or having something happen? Like, do you have anything like that?
For sure. My dad is really, like, he's good, though. He's not a big risk guy. This guy gives up space, space that could be used for, like, comfort out there. But he'll, like, sacrifice that space for comfort for, like, a secondary piece of equipment that he'll need. You know what I mean? So he's kind of like, he does not let bad things happen, because you can 10x the difficulty of anything when you, of any task when you're out on the ocean and when you're hit with weather. Like even the most mundane things, if you want to, go use the bathroom or chop vegetables, like you're constantly like fighting for your balance, and like your core's engaged sometimes. You know what I mean? Like accidentally. Yeah.
And to go to the bathroom, you're like, that was a workout. You're trying to not make a mess.
Exactly.
Crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So things like that. But scary out there. There was this one time, like I can recall my dad, like, hey, we only have 50 traps left to fish, right? And weather's coming. Weather's coming. We're going to catch the end of that weather, but let's fish this 50 traps and head in. We're so close to home. It's not going to be a big run. So let's just finish it. And I remember, Brad, like by the end of it, like you'd be up on top of a wave. Your buoy is at the bottom and you're up. And I can't even I can't think of the height, but it was far.
Yeah.
It was very far. I want to say like 15, 20 feet.
Sure.
Right? So then all of a sudden your wave drops, your boat drops, and then all of a sudden the buoy's like right there.
Yeah.
Right? It was so far away, you drop, the buoy comes up, and it's right there in your hands.
Yeah.
And you stick it through. So it was just kind of like this constant, and the water coming over the deck, that kind of stuff. And we don't get caught up in a lot of that, but it definitely can happen.
Yeah.
Everything that's within your control, get it done. Don't overlook anything, right? Listen to your weather, right? Know when it's coming.
Yeah.
Get out of there, don't stick around.
Yeah.
So things like that.
Yeah.
The
So-
6 Ps.
The what?
The 6 Ps.
What are those?
The 6 Ps. I learned it from a great man. Like he was coming back to the gym. Like I get to meet like some of the most fascinating people through the gym, right?
I bet.
So not only do they bring their their troubles or whatever what we were touching on before, but they also bring like their stories, and it's amazing. So this man, he teaches me about the 6 Ps, and it's very fitting to our crab story there and being prepared. It's preparation prevents piss poor performance.
Wow.
Right? The 6 Ps.
No kidding. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, I know, right? But this was this guy. He could do it, and like.
So, okay, so you did the crabbing thing, and then you came from Prince Rupert.
Yeah.
So did you graduate in Prince Rupert?
I did, man. Yeah.
Because again, I know that you also played a lot of volleyball and some high-level volleyball. What was that all playing up in Prince Rupert?
No, so I did taekwondo. That's how we started.
Yes, yeah.
But then when I got to high school, like I just fell in love with the game of volleyball. Yeah, so I played just for my high school team. There was no club or anything like that. It was a very small scene.
Sure.
And I just kind of took to it. I got good at it. I took to it, and that's actually how it kind of established who I was and who I am still kind of,
sure.
I would say, just because like through volleyball, like I found the gym, right? I found the gym and like working out and training in order for me to do what I wanted to do, and like the responsibilities that I wanted to have on a volleyball team, like I needed to work for it, right?
Yeah.
And I found getting into the gym. The first workout program that I did was Air Alert 2. Do you remember that one or ever heard of it?
I don't know. I don't remember it.
Okay.
I'm assuming it's some type of a jump program.
It was a jump program that blew up in the 90s, right? Everyone was like on Napster trying to like, download it or try to get their bootleg copy of it, right? So I did Air Alert 2, and honestly, man, like my vertical jump just absolutely skyrocketed, right? And I think it's, if I try to do that type of program now, I don't know if I can handle the volume, and there's definitely different ways to achieve, what Air Alert is doing, right?
Well, I mean, I've seen you training guys at your gym for like different jump programs, other volleyball players or basketball players.
Yeah, you know what? Like jumping is important. It's I try to teach a lot of my clients to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Do it well, just because there's things that have to be met in order to do that, right?
Yeah.
Like there has to be a certain coordination. There has to be a certain health in your legs to allow you to do the action, right? I work with people who kind of need it for their performance. Like they're trying to make a varsity team, or they want to get a little bit bigger, stronger, faster, a little more powerful in their legs. So then the jump program is definitely a tool that we would use.
Yeah. So did you play volleyball then after high school somewhere?
So my grade 11 year, we made our school makes provincials, and that's a big thing for us, right?
Sure.
For us, like small town kids, Prince Rupert,
Yeah.
up north, to be able to go down and see schools from the Lower Mainland,
Right.
and other areas,
Yeah.
right? It was hosted at UBCO in Kelowna there, and so you just see like just these teams, like they're and you can tell they're so good.
Yeah.
Right. We got there. We were the best in our zone, the Northwest zone.
Yeah.
But there's levels to this thing, right, Brad?
Yeah.
Like there's us, and
Totally.
we go down and we see these guys that play full time, super athletic.
Yeah.
Seeing dudes that were like 6'3", 6'4", 6'6", and it's like their entire lineup is that height, and it's just like what?
Yeah.
Right. And where ours would range from like 5'7", me 5'7", and then our biggest guy like 6'1",
Right.
6'2". So just a lot of bigger people, right? The reason why I talked about that was because when I chose my school to go and play,
Yeah.
I wasn't
Like for university, like
college.
Okay, yep.
I knew after high school that I wanted to play. I loved it enough to see like how far I could really take this thing,
Sure.
right? So I was dating a girl at the time, and she was like, "Just try, like just try." So I contacted the coach. This is not typical. Usually, I guess they do get contacts, but usually at this level, they've recruited everyone.
Okay.
Like every position is accounted for.
Yep.
So to take a walk on is like, yeah, just come try out. We have these open gyms. It doesn't harm them for me to come, right? And so I did that. I went to the open gyms and just had really good like tryouts and like just made sure I was a good teammate, made sure I was memorable, like just like be out there, right?
Yeah.
So I did that, and then they were like, yeah, come to the tryouts, and then like the official tryouts after the open gym.
Yep.
Came to the official tryouts, had a good couple days of tryouts, and then they were like, listen, like we can't give you a roster spot, but do you want a redshirt spot?
Yeah.
And so that is just a position where you get to come and train with the guys. You
Okay,
don't even,
sure.
you don't even get a jersey.
Right.
So I wanted to play volleyball, right?
Yeah.
And so any opportunity, if it started there, then so be it. So I did that, and in the second semester they took us to Hawaii. We got to play the University of Hawaii my first year ever playing.
Wow.
So I think
And they took red shirts with them?
they took us because it wasn't official.
Okay.
They took the red shirt, me and another guy, because it wasn't official. It wasn't like a part of like the school. We'd have to pay for it type of thing. So it wasn't costing them anything. So man, they took us out. They gave me one set out of how many sets did we get to play against them? I want to say like 2 games. They spanked us like 3-0 every time. So 6 sets. So out of 6 sets, I got 2 of those sets. Yeah. And just had a good game against them. And then so the second semester, like, listen, like, do you want a roster spot? And then it kind of career, but like, it just kind of took off. Everything got good after that. Okay. You know, like starting to play like the starting position, playing like more responsibility on the team, that type of stuff. Yeah.
What would your main position have been?
A libero.
Okay.
A libero. So I'm
and explain to people what that is.
Usually it's like your first contact guy, right? Okay. So when the ball comes over, served at you, driven at you, you're kind of like an equivalent to a goalie. You prevent the other team from scoring. Sure. Right? So that's your main thing.
So bumps would be the majority of your
bumps, which is bumps. Digs, like you're responsible for like defense, which is called digging. Yeah. Right. So like if a team like smashes the ball at you and then you get it up, that's a dig.
You know, it's one thing to be able to block or to be good at serving or be good at spiking, but libero there's not many people like on a team that would be able to fill that gap.
It's a special position because you get a free substitution into the game, and you usually take the person who's like, you know, the biggest dude who's not super mobile, but he's just a force at the net type of thing. Yeah. So like your middle, your big right side or whatever in some situations.
What was your vertical at its peak?
That was good. That was something that was kind of like,
because I've seen you jump, and I remember because I played low level crappy volleyball at the thing there. I would go and sub in the odd time, and I remember on our side of the gym was where like the crappy teams played, and then there was like the A division down there, and I remember just seeing this.
Is this in Penticton?
This is Penticton.
Okay.
And I just remember seeing this guy like had kind of like the float of Air Jordan, just like watching out of the corner of my eye and saying, like, oh, look at that guy, he's so high, and he hasn't touched the ground yet. Just that floating, and you have something that when you're in the air, just like you're flying. There's that flying thing. And I just remember it being so fun to watch.
I appreciate that, man.
And I was like, so what, like, obviously your jump program, but what was the vert?
When I was playing consistently and like in the gym, I want to say like 35, currently like 30. Yeah. Yeah, currently 30. So it's gone down. Wow. It's gone down for sure.
But still, 30 is pretty dang good for, how old are you now?
30, turning 39, Brad.
Sweet, man.
Turning 39. What are you doing?
I'm 42 this year, maybe 43. Yeah. So then you ended up.
Let's continue. So that's where UBCO was the is the school that hosted provincials. In grade 11 for me. Right. So I recognized some dudes, and I took to one guy, man. You want to talk about crazy vertical, right? This guy was maybe a couple inches taller than me, but he had 40.
Really?
This guy was at 40 for sure.
Huh.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Wes Webb.
Yeah.
Wes Webb, his name. This guy was...
Was he related to Spud Webb?
Yeah. But just looking at the vertical, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Looking at the vertical, maybe.
Yeah.
But no, just the stud, right? Just this guy. He was from Glen Eagle. They had the flyest, like, just like, they look so good. They had these yellow joggers.
Okay.
Right? Jogging pants. And they had yellow 3/4 sleeve, like, baseball tees. Do you remember those shirts? Yeah. And it looked just so good, man. Like, they looked good, and like everyone on that team was super athletic and good.
They didn't have any of the tearaways that they could just like rip off.
No, some teams, I don't know. I do remember those. Yeah. I had the champion ones of those.
Nice.
Yeah. But no, they didn't have those. But
okay, so you took to this Webb guy.
Yep. And then when I was researching my schools, right, like, where do I want to go? I was looking at Cap College at the time. I was looking at Langara. I was looking at Douglas, and then I'm going through, and then I recognize, I went to the Douglas website, and I recognize, like, oh, he's on that team, and because they were a year ahead of me, so they were already there.
Right.
So yeah, he's on that team. Oh, I remember that guy from Provincials, he's on that team, and I was like, okay, this is the school I want to go to.
Yeah.
Luckily, though, like, it was just fate that my chances of making that team were a little higher, just because previous records haven't been the greatest.
Okay, gotcha.
Right, so like, it wasn't like the strongest program at the time.
Sure.
At the time, so maybe I got a little lucky.
Okay.
Right, I don't want to.
Right time.
I don't want to throw shade.
Yeah.
But like, to take a walk on, like. To take a walk on, it's like chances are low. Chances are low.
So then you got on with that.
Yeah.
So was that Douglas?
That was Douglas.
Okay.
So I spent 2 years there, 2 seasons there. And then I followed my assistant coach over to Capilano College at the time.
Okay.
Played another 2 years. And then for the last year, I had to make a decision, like, do I try to up it again and like try to play university?
Yep.
But at university, even if I make a roster, I'm not getting minutes, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not getting no playing time.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe on a game that did not matter, or like the last few points or whatever.
Gotcha.
Like, there was a guy on the team he ended up going, for my position, he made the national team, right? So
no way.
He was so good. There was no way I was beating him. So I figured, okay, so go there. Okay, you get better at volleyball, you get better training, better exposure. Or do you try to win, like try to stay and try to win, try to win a championship?
Yep.
And that's what I decided to do. Got close, didn't happen.
Yeah, so I guess then coming back to Summerland and to actually owning the gym, what is it like? Because obviously you have people from all different walks of life. You have young people, and then you have seniors. What's it like to work with these people that are extremely young and fit, and they love being there, versus having, like, again, senior people there that are maybe there because they need to be there, or they just want to get fit?
The range is nice. The range is nice because it keeps your work, it keeps you on as a trainer. It keeps you sharp, because you can't train one person the same way as another person. There are common things that they can both share and benefit from, right? But really, if we're talking like an 82-year-old like lifestyle person just trying to keep their function,
Right.
The intensities are definitely different. The effort is the same, right? They both people have to make big efforts towards improving themselves for sure. But the modality and how we approach it is different in terms of intensity, but motive. Like, I care about that 82-year-old still trying to like get up on a chair as much as I do about that 18-year-old trying to make a varsity team. When we're working to make sure that we're going to achieve what it is that we're trying to achieve. Yeah. Right. So motive and intention are high for both.
Yeah. Would you say people feel before they see, or vice versa?
Do they feel before they see? Definitely. Yeah. Definitely, 100%. Like, there's chemical changes, right, that are gonna occur for sure, and that's something you can accept. Like, the sky is blue, right? Yeah. I'm not a preacher. That's the thing about my thing. Like, with exercise, like, my clients and I, we connect on the platform that we both understand that there's a common understanding that exercise is good for you. I'm not trying to sell you that. I'm not trying to preach that. You've come to me because you've sought out a trainer because you have that understanding, and you just need help with it, or it's your preference to work with someone.
If we bring it back to the small town life, what would you say? What's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of small town? And maybe it's small town Summerland, but again, there's other different small towns, which you talked about earlier.
Yeah, definitely. Most recently, small town, it's given me a peace, right? Coming from the city, living in Vancouver, I loved it. Like, it was nice. I took advantage of all the amenities there, right?
Of course, yeah, for sure.
And, but I loved it. But it's the people here have been so welcoming. And we came in 2015. That was our, and we have been just kind of like, I don't want to sound in any way, but just you get a feeling of like acceptance here. My wife, Anna-Laura, is established here. She's from here.
Right,
But when I came, it was like, how am I going to get myself out there? Luckily, it's a storefront.
Okay.
Right? So you just have a business, and then people, through word of mouth, through your service, like they start talking, and then that's how it kind of grows.
Yeah.
Brad, I've been here since 2015. I don't even operate with a website.
Really?
I don't have a website.
Yeah.
And that's embarrassing for me to admit, because there's a lack of professionalism for sure, but I don't feel the ramifications of not having a website, right?
I mean, that's, in a way, that's everyone's dream. Like, if they didn't have to worry about the website and all the social media and do that kind of stuff, and they just had business and word of the mouth worked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the dream in a way.
It's special. It's special just because I battle with like self-promoting, right? Like it's hard for me to, I don't have social media. I don't have I'm not on there. Posting would be hard for me, right? Posting would be hard for me, and just things like that, man.
No,
So,
that totally makes sense.
Yeah.
So being in a small town, how would you say in Summerland in general, how does information kind of get spread? What does that look like here in Summerland?
Man, you know what? It is the infamous board. Do you know this board?
No.
So there's
The one by the post office, like?
I think that's the one. I think that's the one, or it's the one by the CIBC on Main Street.
I know that one.
So there's two boards there.
Yeah.
So apparently, whatever you want, like whatever information, according to my wife, she's like, if whatever information you want around, you got to post it on there, and that's what goes.
Man, it's funny when you think of a post.
Yeah.
And you got to post it on that board. We are talking about a literal get a thumbtack from the dollar store, have your handwritten thing, or maybe your thing, and you're trying to sell a boat, and the trailer comes with it too, and then you have those little slices with the little phone numbers, and you could take that off and give Bob a call. And
you're not trying to rip two of them off.
The amount of lost cats and dogs and all the stuff that are on there, and selling this and that, that's amazing.
I think it's cool.
Yeah,
and people still use it. I think.
Yeah,
I see new posts all the time.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like, what did you post today?
Yeah,
that's great.
Like couches for free.
Yeah. Okay, front page of the newspaper. Summerland, small town versus city. Oftentimes city, it's not always negative, but usually it has something to do with politics, something to do with some big event.
Yeah.
Small towns, it's a little bit more small towny.
Front page, it was like a picture of a tricycle, and it was like front page, big headlines. Tricycle stolen out of a front yard.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was the action in Beamsville.
The action front page tricycle stolen. Yeah. Okay. Speaking of stolen, and now I know we've both shared this a little bit, but you've had some stuff stolen.
Yeah.
I've had some stuff stolen.
No way.
Yeah, I have. But let's hear your stolen story first.
Oh man. Summerland is safe.
It is safe. Exactly.
However, there are thefts that happen, and if you're not, I'm a little maybe oblivious to, or maybe too trusting to a fault, right? Where I think I'll be fine, or I don't need to lock my door. Or, I don't need to lock my bike up. It's fine. I'm right there.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. I got my car stolen.
No kidding.
Yeah, just an old beat up Jeep. The door barely closed. You know what I mean? It was just a little commuter thing.
Okay.
I'm surprised it made it this far, but man, it ended up in Saskatchewan.
No way.
Yeah.
So did you leave the keys in it, or how did they hotwire it?
They hotwired it, man. You could just have to you could pull on that door. It's open, hotwire, boom, you're gone.
Crazy.
I don't know how to hot wire though.
Yeah.
I make it sound easy, but I know.
It makes it sound like, you just go and hot wire. You go underneath there, and every car has 2 wires that hang down, touch them together, boom, you're good to go.
That's right.
Yeah, I had one night, me and my wife were watching TV. I hear this like kind of what I thought was a bear outside, because that's the thing is like if you live in a small town and someone's stealing your stuff and you hear it, you don't go, someone's stealing my stuff. You go, oh, there's got to be a bear out there, or a dog or something.
Exactly.
And so I'm not paying much attention. And then I saw movement out of the window, and I look and I see like this dark black sweater, which again made me go, animal, bear? Yeah. But then the light shone on a guy's face, hood on, and he's got 2 skateboards and a longboard, which I just leave outside because I'm not thinking I'm going to steal it.
Yeah.
And so he ran out of the house. I went running out there, and I was able to get the stuff back.
You did?
Well, because the guy I think I just scared him so bad because I don't think he knew. And so there was somebody driving the car, and then he grabbed the boards, threw them in the back of his car, and I was able to actually get to the car, and I reached through the window and I grabbed the steering wheel, and I just started screaming at him. The guy's like, dude, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. And I'm like, get the boards out of there.
What were you screaming at him?
Oh, you don't want to know. Like, I was pretty upset. And so anyway, he ended up throwing the car, all the boards back on the road.
Yeah.
And then the driver, as I'm holding, because I grabbed the steering wheel and kind of pulled it towards myself. Yeah. And I'm yelling at, so he threw the stuff out there, and then all of a sudden the driver just stomps on the gas. Yeah. So like I almost got run over. They didn't steal anything, and but at the same time I was like, okay, maybe things aren't as safe, but I'm still pretty relaxed with it all, right?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
I mean, before we wrap up here, I'm going to throw out these are kind of a random, quick assortment of questions. This is what we like to call the lightning round, and these are all questions. Some of them are kind of tailored to you, but I'm going to ask these, and you basically have to answer as quick as you can.
Got it.
You can give me a little bit of explanation if it needs it, but for the most part, try to keep it snappy, and we'll just rip through these. Okay, here we go. First one. Nachos or wings?
Wings.
Comedy or action?
Comedy.
Okay, are you a fist pounder or a handshake guy?
Handshake.
Handshake, okay.
A dab, like a good handshake. Not like a...
Not one of these.
I need like a...
Yeah, I know. Usually when you come up to me, it's always like, Brad, and you're like...
And then one of those, right? Yes.
Okay, we got to do it properly. It's more like this.
1, 2. That's it.
Yeah,
that's it. I love it. There's rhythm to that.
There is rhythm. Yeah, that's right. It's funny. My brother, he cannot handle like any of the stuff because he just feels awkward, doesn't know what to do. So he will specifically come at people and put his hand really low so that the only option is for you to go low, and you can only handshake. So I'm like, that's pretty good. This is pretty good. If you have no other option, just go low.
Yes, but it's like it's a dance. So like you can lead one person follows. Yeah. Right. Like so, for example, stick out your hand. Stick your hand. So you don't have to do anything, right? Okay. So say you're Timmy, we're like, what's going on? Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. Right?
That was pretty simple.
You lead, follow. Like here, you go, you lead.
Yeah, but I mean, some people also they can't follow. Some people it's like dancing, right? Some people are stepping all over other people's feet, and they're like, and I think that's my brother. He's like, I don't know what you're doing next. Am I supposed to be like, right? So, all right, this next one, Jordan or LeBron?
Oh, LeBron.
Oh wow, you're the first person that said LeBron.
Sorry, man. It's because that was great. Why is that? Why? Why
do people say Jordan over LeBron?
It's a fantasy.
It's a fantasy?
It's a fantasy. Come on.
I mean, I think, because I would probably say Jordan, and me, I kind of naturally probably go Jordan because I feel like how much the game changed when he was in the NBA.
Are we talking most influential or better basketball player or greatest of all time? What are you talking about here?
Oh, that's a good question. So I would say...
Most influential?
I'd say most influential, and I want to say greatest of all time, but at the same time, that's where... If you look at the numbers, LeBron's probably... Yeah.
Like physically too, right? Yes. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I just feel like the arguments of the 90s guys and then the present guys, like I just...
And he's still so dominant. Like Jordan tapered off, whatever, where it seems like LeBron is still like, dude, stop me.
I think training is a huge part of that. Mm-hmm. Like the rate of improvement on of training principles and like coaches that are out there way better. So longevity is definitely better on this end for sure. Yeah, and it's only going to grow.
Okay, R&B or rap?
R&B or rap?
No, they're similar, but
yeah, I was always an R&B guy.
Okay. Yeah. Country or alternative?
both on the same, man. They're both at the end of the scales for me, you know.
Okay. Yep.
But what do I enjoy more? I'd probably say country as of late.
Okay.
Country as of late. Morgan Wallen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Fair enough. What about hot sauce or ketchup?
Ketchup.
Yeah. Okay. Crab or shrimp?
I'm biased.
Of course, you have to be.
No, I'm kidding. Shrimp.
Oh, really?
Or prawn. Shrimp or prawn.
Is it because you've had so much crab in your life you can't handle it, or is it just because you personally prefer shrimp taste over crab?
I'm talking about like how much I can eat.
Yep.
I'd probably say I could eat more prawn than I can crab.
Okay.
Crab can become like it's rich, right?
Sure.
So it can be.
Yep.
And prawn you can.
Yep.
There's some to it. Like it's yeah.
And prawn's easier to eat than crab too. You're not working through all the shell.
In terms of for sure. Prawns can be a little finicky though.
Yep. Okay. Pull up or chin up?
What's harder?
What do you prefer?
Pull ups because it's harder.
You prefer the harder.
Yeah, and what it does.
Okay. High knees. So if you had to go somewhere, this is how you had to get somewhere all the time. You always had to do high knees or the side shuffle like defensive.
Side shuffle defense.
Okay. Peach or cherry?
Good one. Peach.
Okay. What about bagpipes or banjo?
Banjo.
Okay.
My brother-in-law plays one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Brandon. He does.
Yeah.
And he's good.
Is he good?
Oh, I love listening to him play. We went camping with him.
Yeah.
He busted it out. It was so great. I was on guitar and his son was on harmonica. It was great.
Really?
Yeah, it was great.
He hasn't like shredded for me just yet. Like he hasn't like gone off. You know, I'm waiting for that day.
It's lovely, especially with the campfire in front of him. It's great.
Okay.
What about skate or scooter?
Skateboard.
Okay, I thought so because I know you've frequented the skate park here and there.
We grew up in Prince Rupert. The skateboarding scene in Prince Rupert was pretty funny. That early 2000s.
Sure.
Talking about making vids.
Yes.
Like skate vids in high school and stuff like that. That was my first like exposure to any of this kind of stuff.
That's great.
Yeah.
Kick flip or board slide?
Kick flip.
Okay, because my son saw you at the skate and he says that you were doing some board slides.
I could do board slides.
That's impressive.
The best I got was a lip slide in terms of like a board trick.
Okay.
Board slide trick. Yeah.
Wow.
Do you know that one?
I don't know how to do it. No.
Do you know the trick?
I know the trick. Yeah.
You know the trick? Yeah.
Yeah. Protein shake or chicken breast?
Protein shake.
Okay. Set or bump?
Set or bump?
Yeah.
Let's go bump.
Okay.
Let's go bump.
Jump serve or back row attack?
Jump serve.
Yep. Shoes or sandals?
Shoes.
Okay. Tom Hanks or Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise.
Okay. Tom Holland or Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy.
Okay. Tom Cruise or Tom Hardy?
OG, Tom Cruise.
All right. Are you a clap or cheer guy?
Cheers and like, woo!
Yeah.
Cheer. Or clap.
Clapper? Okay. Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson?
Mike Tyson, man.
Yeah.
That guy's an animal.
Yeah. I mean, again, I love the float like a butterfly thing, but part of me with...
I shouldn't say animal. Like, that guy's boxed, like, prime, like, black trunk Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
We only looked into him, like, I always knew his name. Didn't really look into his, like, career or, like, his fights and stuff like that. Until, like, his stuff started coming out. Like, his stuff, like, like Netflix or, like, Disney.
Oh, sure.
Like, stories about him.
Yeah.
And then just the way this man was conditioned.
Yes.
Right? Physically and mentally.
Yeah.
Like he was like he turned himself into something.
Absolutely. Right? The YouTube rabbit trail like is very deep.
Yeah.
Like again, when you go into Mike Tyson, you look at all that old footage. I mean, it's the same with Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
And I love the thing is like, would Mike Tyson be able to even hit Muhammad Ali? Not many times, but he only did one.
Yeah.
Whereas the other way around, I don't know. How about ski or snowboard?
I want to say snowboard.
Okay. Toast or bagel?
Bagel.
Iron Man or Thor?
Thor.
Cashew or pistachio?
Pistachio.
Pass or shoot?
Shoot.
Coke or root beer?
Root beer.
Mm-hmm. Pie or cake?
Cake.
Even with all the lovely fruit of the Okanagan?
Oh man, but the
cake, right? What's the cake?
The process of the cake.
Yeah? Are you like a like Black Forest? Are you like
I'm all of it.
All cake?
I'm all of it. Cheesecake's a big hit in our family.
I guess too, that's the thing is with cake is you often have the icing, right? Whereas pie, it's usually not like an icing on a pie, and then maybe there's some vanilla ice cream or something in there. But
I don't know if I'm genetically like predisposed to like handle the tart, you know?
okay.
The tartness of like, I just don't like that.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay, what about this board game or video game?
You know, board game transitioning to video game now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Would you say arcade or console?
Arcade.
Yep. Buzzer beater or a home run?
Buzzer beater. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I want to say buzzer beater.
Buzzer beater. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Stick with it. Do you have a brother?
I do, too.
Older, younger?
Older and younger.
Okay, so you had some little scraps with when you were younger?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Are you a kick or punch guy?
Trained in kick.
Okay. Okay, this gets a little bit more scrappy. Slap or scratch?
Good old slap.
Oh, good old slap. Pinch or poke?
For damage, pinch.
Okay, for damage, yep. What about hair pull or bite?
Desperation. If you're desperate,
Yep.
bite.
Okay, yep, that'll probably do it. Okay, what is your finishing move? Okay, so end of the fight here. These are the two options, okay? Darth Vader, that whole like telekinesis, like force choke.
Yeah.
Or the Daniel LaRusso epic Miyagi-Do crane kick that he used to defeat Johnny Lawrence in the 1984 All Valleys Karate Championship.
Oh, man. Controversial fight. Controversial bout.
Right.
Yeah.
Who are you?
who am I?
Are you Daniel or are you Vader?
Man, historically speaking, I'm going to say I'm Daniel.
Yeah, you got to be LaRusso, I guess. With
Daniel
yeah.
LaRusso.
Yeah, you do it. That'd be sick.
No one saw it coming.
No. Dude, absolute pleasure.
Man, that was awesome.
Thank you for doing that, Haun.
Let's do this anytime.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Did
again,
I answer the questions?
you did. You answered them fantastically, beautifully.
Okay.
Yeah, that was so good. And again, just awesome to have you as part of the community, and all the coaching to making people's personal goals come to life, and having you guys as part of this community it's a blessing for all of us. And so, looking forward to seeing you for years to come. Pretty soon we'll be hanging out at Timmy's in our 70s and 80s, just watching the new kids do their thing.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Yeah,
that's
I'm
great.
down for that.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us today. That was an absolute pleasure. And hopefully we see you on the next episode of Small Town Podcast.